Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharp. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And I have my co-host for today, Mr. Ryan Halpert. What's going on, Ryan?
What's up, Dave? How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Before the show started, Ryan was trying to find a light shining on the back of his wall. He
Oh,
could not figure it out. He looked like a crazy man. He was looking around as I logged into the backstage of our streaming platform here. He was looking around as if there was an imaginary friend in the room. I said, "Hello, good morning, Ryan. How are you?" He said, "Am I hearing voices?" No, he didn't say that. But anyways, did you ever find out where the light is coming from, my friend?
I did not. I mean, I know it's coming from this window. It has to be, but it's got the blind on there, so I just no matter how I adjust it, that light doesn't seem to move. So I don't know what to do about that. I also don't like how my wall looks a little green. It actually doesn't look too bad right now, but this is a black wall. It shouldn't have
Yeah.
a green hue to it. But anyways,
Weird, dude. It's weird. Maybe you have ghost or something in that house. I don't know. They got up and they sort of sprayed a green tint on the wall and are messing with your head. Either way, we'll let you figure that out after the show and call if you need me. We're going to be talking about some viral video examples today, and we're not saying that you should copy these, but if you want to, you certainly can. When I use the word copy, I want to kind of clarify what I mean by that too. Um, Copying things like word for word or copying things, without adding any of your own personality or anything else to it is plagiarism. It is like not cool, right? So we don't want to encourage sort of word for word or step for step anything. We want to show you guys things, and we want you to learn and think and be creative. And oftentimes your income will be capped by your creativity or your inability to be able to be creative. Artists for thousands of years have been inspired by things, and I view us marketers as artists. Um, so use things as inspiration and model things, right? Model things. Uh, it's one of the most powerful ways to learn something is to model it. And you see young kids, we learned by modeling. We watched people walk, we watched people talk, we watched people do things growing up, and then we put our own spin on it, our own personality. So that's just a little bit of a disclaimer around like word for word and text for text and color for color. And this goes whether you're promoting, your own product or other products, or if you're an affiliate of ours, right? It's just not. It's not effective long term. It's not cool, um, and you'll actually get penalized on the platforms for doing it. Adam Montessori, the head of Instagram, actually put out a video recently that said if you publish duplicate content, if you literally just take somebody's video and try to duplicate it exactly, or like grab it and repost it word for word without, here's the key, without adding your own personality or spin or remixing it somehow, right? Then you'll actually get penalized. They'll actually stop showing your stuff to other people because they don't want the platform full of kind of duplicate content. If you're wondering where the noise is coming from, friends, I am sitting at my my dining room table here. I am my office down below is almost back. Okay, so I got flooded in the floods of October 2024 here, Helene and Milton, and the boys are working. Okay, so we got drills going. I'll try to mute myself out. Ryan, what are we going to be looking at here first? What's our first kind of viral social media trend or video that you got for us?
yeah, so I got some videos over here that are this first group of videos that I'm going to show you is going to be creative ways that you can get text or your message in front of people. So think text on screen, but better than that. Better than just, here I am sitting here and here's a text that I used Instagram to put on the screen. It's just more creative, more engaging ways. And I'll talk about why these are so much better. And we'll discuss why these are so much better and so much more engaging after we watch them. But I'm going to show you guys about a 90-second video of a bunch of these that I strung together so you could get a really good idea how it works. So here we go. Let me share my screen. And we're going to hit play. Some of these have no audio to them. I think those ones are my favorite. Save for the end, but there it is. Yeah. So I think it makes it pretty clear, right? You could you could say all the same things. You put them as text on screen, it's just not interesting. It's not as fun. It's not as exciting. Whereas now in this case, the video revolves around the message being revealed. And the other thing that these do is they create a curiosity gap right from the go. Like there's curiosity, there's an itch created that needs to be scratched, and I got to see, I have to see how this is going to end. I have to see what the end result's going to be. What's that message going to say, or or I just maybe don't really know what's happening. Like in the example with the second one where they had the phone far away and they had to zoom into it and it had the text on the phone screen. I don't really know what's going on, but by the time I realize what's going on, the video's already over. So you got me to watch the whole thing. Now, here's something that's interesting. This is a stat. Now, I'm not a TikTok rep, so I can't 100% guarantee this is the truth, but this came from a TikTok rep. And supposedly, the threshold for TikTok, insider information, right? They want you to get 6 seconds of watch time 200 times within the first hour. And if you do, your video is going to get a lot of push. So basically, that means in the first hour of posting your video, if you can get 200 people to watch 6 seconds or more, you're going to have a very good performance on that video. And so what does that mean? That means we've got to come up with creative ways to get the text on screen. A lot of you don't have to say anything different than you're saying now. You just come up with these really creative ways. You could even use these, right? I showed 2 of the paper airplane. I showed a bunch of phone screen ones. I showed a few wrinkled up paper ones. A lot of people are doing the same thing, just different creative ways of doing it. What can you do that's going to build a little anticipation, and then the message shows up a few seconds into the video, but from the moment they start watching, there's something that's creating a curiosity gap.
Yeah, man, that's unique and interesting from TikTok. And sometimes we hear, if you pay attention, a lot of times the CEO or the head product developer, somebody from the company will actually give you insight into what does well on the platform. And there's so many people out here trying to giving tips and giving insights into social media, but sometimes just listening to the people from the actual company is helpful. I just quoted something from the CEO of Instagram, right? So listening to these people give product updates about the product, about the stats of like what makes a video go viral direct from the company is oftentimes one of the smartest things to do, instead of listening to some yahoo on Instagram, who you don't know if they're just parroting something else that they heard, right? Which is sort of the kind of dangerous in the world on its own, right? Just listening to people kind of parrot. I call it parrot syndrome, right? Parrots sit there and just re-say the things that they hear. I loved the first couple of videos where it was like looking for a sign, right? And then it's because that's funny too. And I think one of the things that, again, there's a couple of elements that go viral or get people to really engage in your content and follow you and be interested in what you're doing. And it's not even about particularly going viral, right? Because I think that going viral is sort of it's this thing that so many of us have like become obsessed with around social media and marketing, and it's not necessary, right? I mean, just hitting base hits is okay. You don't have to hit a home run all the time. Occasionally, you're going to get a home run, but what you need to do is get used to hitting base hits and become obsessed and okay with hitting base hits. And those videos where it's like you're looking for a sign, whether that goes viral or not, it's funny, right? It's funny. And if you can make your audience laugh, you can make them buy. Let me say that again. If you can make your audience laugh, you can make them buy, because people buy from people that they like to be around. I even think that people will buy from you if they like you more, even if they know you know less, because they enjoy learning from you or listening to you. And so that is why, if we go back to the business blueprints and the fishing formula framework that I've kind of developed over the years, it's about edutainment. It's about combining education and entertainment, right? And education can also be inspirational. It can be, it can be, you got this, every day's a grind, keep pushing. But it can also be like, it can also be a reminder that, I forget what the thing was, what the words were on the screen of those couple of things, but it's like, you need a new car, or you need to take you deserve a massage, you've been working hard, or whatever it is, right? It's like, type in a chat GPT and say, give me 10 funny things that people would laugh at if you reminded them that they needed it, but they're also true, right? They're also probably true, right? You need a day away from your kids, reminder entrepreneurs, leave your kids and your spouse at home and go do something nice for yourself. I mean, that's not particularly funny, but it's probably true, right? Probably somebody read that and start crying and go, oh, right? But it's like, if I can make my audience laugh, then I can make them like me. I can get them to love me, right? And it also is, yes, Rhonda, it's props, right? These are the props that we've been talking about over and over again, that when you use props inside of your video, it just keeps people's attention more, because it's more than just your talking head. It's something that they're looking at. There's so many talking heads out on the internet and on media and on TV that when you integrate a prop, I love the paper airplane. That is such a simple thing, right? You could throw that in your house and have it land at your desk, and then open your computer, and it says something funny, right? It's like you open your computer and it's like the life of an entrepreneur, and the airplane goes down to the computer. Then you open the computer and it says, you forgot to brush your teeth. It's like, I mean, it's weird. It's random, but it's like, think of like Quentin Tarantino movies or whatever. there's a lot of things that people love that don't always make the most sense. They don't always have these endings that are these climactic endings. Is that a word? Climactic?
Yeah, it is.
Climatic. I'm a ninth grade dropout, so bear with me. But they don't always have these huge reveals or these huge, like, it's not. I think sometimes when we think of entertainment, we think about these big reveals at the end of a movie where it's like we're gonna like learn, so it's gonna be this big, oh my god, crazy ending. But it doesn't always require that. Some of the greatest movies just end, and it's sort of this anticlimactic end, right? It's sort of anticlimactic. Is that word climatic?
Yeah.
Um,
Climactic, I think. I think the
Climactic.
first time you said it, you had it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
Now
keep
I'm
working
starting to
on
think
that.
it's not a word.
I know. I love to invent words. Um, I've invented so many words: scoliosis, comparisonitis. I mean, these are actual things that I know are not in the dictionary. So, and that's right. It's like, inventing things. I was talking with our coaching clients on our boardroom call the other day, and I reminded them that, the things that you see around you, somebody invented those product names, legendary marketer. I mean, somebody didn't, nobody handed that like, hey, here's the name of, I didn't go. It's just, you think of things that are outside of the box, you name them, and then you claim them. Right. So, the edutainment, right? Becca says the edutainment piece. It's like, it's such a simple, but it's descriptive, and it's kind of makes you think, and it's funny, and it's not a real word. So taking risk and not needing to be so, also so overproduced. The other thing that I noticed about these videos is that some of the most popular videos are underproduced. They're just
Yeah.
airplane flying across with no filter, with no big, editing. That's just somebody who literally set up their phone and threw a paper airplane across a couple of different scenes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, or the one where the airplane was flying, he was just, or she was just flying the airplane around the room with the camera right behind it. I mean, very low production, very simple, very kind of funny with a not an in. This is the thing that I said yesterday, and I want to reiterate this, that sometimes we get too obsessed with being positive and inspirational, and sometimes just, humor and comedy is not inspirational. It's usually kind of looking at the negative things in life, or the reality of life, right? Which is not, I mean, the reason why people, need inspiration is because life is monotonous, boring, hard, and all. Like, life is everything that you don't see on social media. That's life. Social media is the highlight reels, it's the staged, it's actually everything almost that's kind of not real, right? It's everybody posing and stopping and making sure things look perfect. And so, one of the reasons why I love comedy so much, and I'm obsessed with stand-up comedy. Everybody knows that the show of the year for me has been, or the entertainment for me for the past year has been this podcast called Kill Tony that also streams on YouTube, where they literally just, have they pull names out of a bucket and pull people up and give them a minute on stage to do stand-up comedy, and then Tony Hinchcliffe like either says that was awesome or tears them apart, right, and makes fun of them. And so comedy is rooted in reality, and it's rooted oftentimes in sort of the boring, monotonous things of life. It's this kind of relatable. Everybody wants to create relatable content because, I think in some ways we want to believe when we're watching social media that somebody's life is really like that. But even the relatable content is produced and staged in some ways, right? And so not being mixing in some not so overly inspiring or positive stuff. Like I just said, opening your computer, you forgot to brush your teeth. Like, it's like, damn it, that's reality, right?
Yeah.
That's reality. Reality is, and that's why I get kind of, you know, we have to watch videos with a grain of salt, some of these morning routines and stuff. It'd be funny to do a morning routine that had nothing to do with meditating, working out, any of that stuff. Just roll out of bed, and it's kind of like what I do a lot of mornings. My morning routine is just roll out of bed,
Yeah.
try to remember to brush my teeth, grab a bar, grab an RX bar, grab a cup of coffee and a couple of drinks, walk outside, get some fresh air, rub the sleep out of my eyes, and sit down and go to work. That's
Yeah.
my morning routine,
And that would be a good video. I mean, you could almost make it like this build up. I'm a 9-figure entrepreneur and this is my morning routine so I can be successful and productive every day. First thing I do when I get out of bed is I sit down and I get to work, and then the video ends. And that's it. You should make that.
Yeah, it's kind of like those memes. I wonder if I still have it. It was so funny. I think Gary V posted it the other day. It was the video where, God, let me see if I saved it, dude. It was so funny. You guys could use this. Holy crap. It was where the guy's sitting there reading the book, and it's like how to post on social media. That's like the title of the book, and then the first page is just post. I love those. I love those so obvious, so obvious memes. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you become good at video marketing? Record videos.
Right. Just
For
like
real.
I mean, that is, I do like that. That's kind of a thing I've seen, the sort of the anticlimactic approach where it's like, you think there's this big breakthrough thing or this big complicated process or this huge thing. And it's just 2 words, 1 word. It's just post. It's like, and that's it. And it's cool. I think it's memorable too. So when you throw the humor in, like, I know you can even ask my wife whenever I all the time, I just like randomly think of stuff that was like super hilarious that happened in the past, and I'll just start laughing, and then she'll be like, all right, what TV show was it? And I'm just like, oh no, it was just this, or sometimes it was a TV show or whatever, but you remember something really, really funny just out of the blue. And it's memorable. You never really remember, at least I don't really remember other stuff in the same way. So humor, I mean, is the best way to, because now every time you come up, if you were in the video, they're going to see that. They're going to remember that funny thing you said, like a comedian, right? You see him come up, you say, oh, this guy's good. You know that guy made you laugh. I like to watch Theo Von. He's my favorite comedian right now. So Theo Von shows up. I don't even have to hear him say anything. Sometimes just looking at his face, I start to laugh. And I know it's going to be something good. So I stick around and I watch the video, even if he doesn't start off hot, Then there's other comedians where I haven't seen him before. They haven't made me laugh. Like Matt Rife. You've seen Matt Rife, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's got a lot of good stuff. I used to watch like all of his videos, but then I'm just like, all right, it's all kind of starting to feel the same now. So now I'm scrolling on him, right? I'm scrolling on him. But that happens in not just with comedy, it happens with a lot of stuff. All content creators, influencers that you watch. Even entrepreneurs and stuff that I used to watch like every single video because it was something good. Now it's like, okay, it's starting to kind of feel the same. And then you kind of go past it. So you want to keep it fresh. You want to keep it exciting. You want to keep everybody on their toes all the time. But, for a very long time, I'll stay engaged with these people. I'll stay engaged and I'll keep watching. And I think most other people will too. So.
Yeah, there's this dude called Hub's Life, and I think it's hubs.life. And he basically just films himself going to work every day, right? And just doing the most boring and absolutely monotonous like stuff. Like it's just there's like nothing that's exciting about this dude's videos. It's literally just take a 1 hour lunch break with me. Right.
Mm.
And it's, he does a good job editing. I mean, but there's nothing, there's no climax in the videos. There's no cool ending. It's sort of like he's almost trying to be like the anti-entrepreneur, right? It's like, go to Chick-fil-A. I'm serious. This is what every video is. And people love it because it's just, if he is doing a video like this one right here, he was just, shouting out this other guy who, is always doing these kind of morning routine videos with the dipping his face in water and stuff like that. He was doing sort of a satire video, right, of that guy while showing him some love, while like saying, hey, inspired by your morning routine. But at the end of the day, it's just, it's his video, look, they think you're lame, but all his videos are just about the basics of life, the monotony of life. Like here he's actually got quite a bit of publicity from just these kind of videos, right? Just basic videos. So my point here is that absolutely, I believe that our income is capped by our creativity for sure. But at the same time, it's like I keep saying this over and over again, that the gold is like right under our nose. It always is in marketing. It's not about being clever. It's about being clear, right? And those videos that you showed at the beginning they were clever, but they were also clear, right? It was like you can clearly see what the message is. You can clearly see it quick. And it's the opposite of this you got to think also about what your audience is watching. Your audience is watching probably a lot of this. If you're in the algorithm your video is going, like, your target customer is seeing a lot of videos that are like yours, right? So when you throw something in there you throw a wrench in the algorithm, they're used to seeing, for example, if you're in the entrepreneur or online marketing space, motivational stuff and all that, they're used to seeing a lot of that. So when you throw in something different that's obvious, or that doesn't have this huge climax, or this huge climax is the word of the day today. I cannot get this word out of my head today. I'm using it in a sentence. I feel like I'm a fifth grader. Use it in a sentence 50 times, Dave. But it's like, what are they seeing all day, every day? And can you do something different that just throws them off? And it doesn't have to be, I'm not talking about being overly clever. I'm talking about throwing a wrench that's sort of like a reality of life, right? Just a reality. Try to give people something that's obvious. When we say relatable content, take that to an extreme, right? Take that to an extreme. Take that to a place where people are like really like, oh, damn, yeah. I ever drove your kids to school and like forgot something and had to go home. You know what I mean? Like that, have you ever, woke up and kind of gotten ready for work and realized it was Saturday? Like I like just short little kind of films that are not particularly have this big lesson in them, or this big, huge kind of reveal or inspiration, are also something that people love, because they, deep down inside, even though we enjoy seeing all this cool footage on social media, we also know that so much of it is staged. And when you get hit with just something that's real, and so many of these memes and stuff are, I saw this one yesterday where it was like, do you ever realize that we're just on a big rock floating in space paying bills? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And that was the meme. That was the meme, right? It was like, there was no, there was no, it's funny. And it just is like, yeah, that's kind of the reality of our life. Do you ever think that we're just, Do you ever realize that we're all just taking pictures and videos of ourselves and posting them to an imaginary cloud on a rock floating through the middle of space while paying bills? I mean, these are like just the things that make you go, damn, this is kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah,
This,
maybe my
yeah,
problems aren't so big. Yeah.
right, for
You know?
sure, for sure. It's like just things that make people think. I think and this is I'm going to end with this, and then we'll wrap up. Final thoughts from you after, but I got one more thought, and and uh, and it's this: look outside of your niche for ideas, guys. Stop looking at all of the same people who are inside of your own niche for ideas. Like this is a massive platinum nugget here. And I say this because when I started, I I say it for the obvious reasons, right? Because if you look like everybody else's content, it's right. There's nothing different. There's nothing novel about what you're doing. And so look outside of your niche. When I got started in the online business in make money online niche, I was looking outside in relationship, dating, pickup artist, financial newsletters, stock and investing space. I looked at specifically some of the people in like the dating in kind of pickup space, just because there was a book back 15 years ago called The Game, and it was like really, really popular. And the guy was a great marketer. His name was Neil Strauss. But then that took me down the rabbit hole of several of these other kind of marketers in this pickup space. And I wasn't even fascinated by pickup. I was in a relationship, but I was fascinated by, and when I say pickup, I mean like pickup artists, like these dudes who like go to, you know, out and consider themselves like masters with women. They've got all the lines, they've got all the strategies.
Yeah. The
Again, I was
game.
in the game. Again, I was in a
Yeah.
relationship, and so it didn't particularly apply to me, but the marketing was so powerful and the copywriting was so good and the headlines and just everything was so good. These guys were really good copywriters and marketers. And so I took a lot of inspiration and ideas from that niche, right? Which when I came back into the when I published that content for the Make Money Online niche, it wasn't stuff that they had seen from everybody else. And so it helped me to differentiate myself when I wasn't so creative at the beginning. The same with the financial newsletter space. Like there's companies out there, there's direct response marketing companies, information companies who publish courses and coaching and do live events. Literally use the core four business models to grow to build their business. There's no physical products, and they are some of the best copywriters and marketers in all of marketing, because they're literally getting people to buy newsletters for thousands of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars reoccurring per month to get this financial newsletter, right, for stock picks and all this different kind of stuff. um, and they're just incredible. I mean, one of them that I can remember is Stansberry Research. I always looked at their stuff, but there's a huge company called Agora Publishing, and they're out of Baltimore, and they're probably one of the biggest players in the information, especially the financial newsletter space. And they have like all these companies, Stansberry. They've got a bunch of them. They're always launching kind of new brands with a new guru or a new spokesperson. And some of the copy and some of the angles and some of the ideas are just, amazing. And one of the ways that you can do this is obvious without screwing up your own algorithm. If you don't want to do that on your own account, you can easily create new accounts on Instagram, for example. you can create and open a new account, and you can have that account be specialized and focused on one specific topic, right? And you can, to my knowledge, have as many Instagram accounts as you want. So now you're getting all this curated content. And I do this exact thing. I have multiple different Instagram accounts where the account is only focused on one particular topic. So all of the information and content that I'm getting on that account it's not all over the place. It's on one singular topic. So I'm getting all of this kind of content that's totally different than my other accounts, right? So not only this is R&D, it's both entertainment for me in some respects, because if I want to scroll, sometimes I want to take a break from the niche that I'm in. I don't always want to be consuming content from my niche, right? So I'll switch profiles and go to another account, and it's almost like walking in a totally different room. So not only am I getting some entertainment, I can sort of step out of the office, but I'm also getting inspiration. I'm getting ideas from totally different niches. And so this is my form of R&D, research and development, right? And when I find something, of course, I save it and I categorize those saves into a folder on that account. So I know that I can always go there for inspiration. I've got folders of videos that I can sort of model or kind of that I'd like to try to recreate. Again, with my own spin, with my own personality or whatever, my own graphics, my own words on it. But looking outside of your niche for some of this, again, one of the things that I love to do, I listen to stand-up comedy. It's just, again, it's outside. Sometimes we get so focused when we're building a business on like entrepreneur stuff, business stuff, like it's all the same thing all the time. And sometimes mixing it up, not only what you're consuming, so you don't get burnt out and everything doesn't start sounding the same, you don't start comparing yourself to everybody else, but you're also kind of, in a way, you're getting your own entertainment, but you're also doing research and development in different niches. So when you find a piece of content that's inspirational, that you see an idea, you can remake that or model that, and it's not particularly something that somebody else has done, right? And that's where you begin to start to differentiate yourself. You don't look like everybody else. You're not copying just everybody else's, because everybody else is seeing those same videos. And then when you pop up with the same video, it's, yes, people go, I've seen this before, right? So that's not to say that we can't model stuff inside of our own niche, but every single video that we watch today, not a single one was from the entrepreneur niche. Not a single one was from the make money online niche, right? So this episode in and of itself is an example of what I'm saying. Final thoughts from you, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I love everything that you just said. And I was actually going to point that out too, that all these examples are from totally different niches. And Gary Ogilvy, he says 80% of your marketing dollar, 80 cents of every dollar spent on a headline. And with these videos, right, that even if it's just visual, that curiosity hook, right, that loop, that's part of your headline, right? So maybe your headline's not always just the words that you say, but it's going to be, maybe the words are just the call to action and the anticipation and the entertainment and the what's happening in front of me is your headline, right? So these creative examples are all over the place. I mean, I go through Instagram and they're endless. Like I have to kind of like pick and choose like which ones I like the best. What are the best examples for me to show here on one of these? You know, there's so many of them and there's so many creative ideas. There's ones where they write on their fingers and they'll like put one finger out at a time. And then that's how they reveal the words. And then another one where they put a piece of paper on the backside of a glass and then they pour the water in the glass and it makes the image flip around and now you can read it. And it's like, there's all these creative little things that you could do. I saw one last night where, the lady, and we've looked at this in the past, the lady's throwing the box and right before it hits them, they stop and they start talking, right? It's like all of these different creative things that you can do just to get that attention initially. because you might have great message. I look at a lot of content from our students, and our students, they have good messaging. A lot of times they have good stories and they have good call to actions, but your hooks aren't creative, right? You don't want to, like Dave said, go outside of your niche, which is a huge thing, because when you go inside your niche and you just find the other people are talking about making money or talking about the same exact thing, they've all seen that shit before, and it's not new, it's not fresh, it's not, so they're just going to scroll past you. You're just a parrot. You're just parroting the same thing that somebody else already said. But it becomes really fresh when you have examples from other niches that your people in your audience probably haven't seen before, right? And you might have to actually intentionally go and dig for these things. I've got to like search stuff, like I'll search stuff usually on my account, and I'll end up in like some random niche like hairstyling or real estate. The real estate people, I'll tell you what, the real estate people and the church people have the most creativity when it comes to these hooks. So if you wanted to look, and hairstylists are good too. That's why I look at them. But if you want to look at the hairstylists, the church people, and the look at my camera, what it's doing. It works on hand gestures here. I got to try to. But anyways, the church people, the real estate agents, and the hairstylists, if that's the one I didn't say yet, they have some of the most creative hooks I've ever seen, and they were in some of these videos that we showed today. So think about that first 6 seconds of your video and what can you do to get the most people through that. And honestly, right, until you really get good at that, nothing else really matters. Nothing else really matters, because if you've only got 1% of people watching all the way through your video, who are you really talking to, right? It's like you're talking to a revolving door, and it's just going around and around and around. And somebody comes in, they hear what you said for a few seconds, and then they go back out the other side, and then you're just gone, right? You wouldn't put a speaker up in a revolving door to try to reach people. So try to figure out, get outside your comfort zone, because this is a muscle that you have to exercise, and it will grow and get stronger, and you'll get better at it. You'll get creative. You'll see ideas, and then you'll know how to put your spin on it. You'll get ideas based off other ideas. Like we were talking earlier about, let's make this anticlimactic morning routine type of video. We saw a video of a guy putting his face into a bowl of ice, and that is what inspired that, right? So there's lots of creative things out there that are super original, that are funny, that are worth trying, and they're easy. They're easy to do, folks. This stuff's not hard. It's not complicated. It might feel awkward if you're in a public place and you've got like an airplane and you're taking your phone like this, right? But if you can get over that shit, right? Look at how leaps and bounds you are. It's the stupid stuff that's making you not go. Like you're not doing stuff because of stupid reasons. They're so simple. You just gotta not worry about that stuff. And I get it's weird and it's kind of awkward sometimes. And for some of you, it's like, oh, I don't want my kids to know what I'm doing. I don't want my husband to know. I don't want, whatever, or my wife or my friends or whatever. If you could just get over that, there's so much simple stuff you could do to start getting views. It's unbelievable. So
you're not cheating. You're not cheating on your spouse by building a business. You're going to get me you're going to get me fired up here, dude. And I don't know if I want that or not, because I'm feeling relaxed, but I agree, dude. Our ability to deal, like get out of our own way, and our willingness to look stupid is the key to all of this, like being successful. It's like most people are not willing to look stupid. You're too worried about what, and that's just another way of saying stop caring what people think. I think it's a more direct way it's like stop giving a shit what people think. It's okay to look stupid. It's okay and because you know what? It only feels stupid. It doesn't actually look stupid. You actually look like you're doing something. You actually look like you're making something happen. This is the biggest. When I was coming up in this entrepreneur game, I thought I was the stupid one. I thought I was and everybody else who was doing nothing and either hating on what I was doing or, oh, I thought I was the stupid one. And in reality, I was the smart one. I was, I mean, I was just literally thinking about one of the dudes who was the rudest to me when I was coming up and in trying to build my multiple businesses over the past 16, 17 years. And this guy was my law. He was a quote acquaintance. He was also a lawn service guy, and I let him mow my lawn one time. I did eventually let him go because I didn't think he did a great job. But he used to have all sort of comments about me, like little passive aggressive comments about what I was doing and about like me pursuing this business. And oh, what's Dave up to again? What you selling this time? And I'm going to tell you something. 16 or 17 years later, I'm looking out over an ocean, and this guy's posted on Facebook if he can find any cheap labor to work on Friday. Still doing the same thing. Still making the same money.
Man,
still struggling with the same problems.
It feels good in a way, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel kind of good?
I mean, yeah, and see the difference between me and him is I would never be a dick and go back and be unkind or say, I mean, I'm saying it to you all now because there's a lesson, there's something so big in being willing to look stupid in other people's eyes, being willing to whatever. It's kind of like the new Mel Robbins book. Let them think you're stupid. Let them think that it's a waste of time. Let whoever at the park when you're filming yourself, let them think you're crazy. Let them think that you're, cuckoo. I mean, I logged on this morning and Ryan was looking around his office. I'm like, this guy's crazy. I love it. He's hearing voices. He's probably going to come up with some new great marketing ideas.
He's finally losing it.
But it's like, it only feels stupid. But the worst thing is not the feelings that you're having as you're building and trying new things. A worse feeling is the regret that you will have of not trying all of the things because you were too worried about what somebody who's not going to come to your funeral anyways. And if they do somehow come to your funeral, they're just going to be worrying about their stomach growling and where they're going to go have lunch after it's over.
Yeah.
And so, let them pay my bills. Right. When they pay my bills, they can have an opinion about what I'm doing. But our ability to be able to withstand a little embarrassment or what we perceive as embarrassment is where the magic happens. People say the magic is on the other side of some fear or whatever. I believe it's on the other side of being willing to look dumb, being willing to look silly in somebody else's eyes. And maybe that's what you're afraid of. I don't know. But like for me, I realized it was sort of like you ever as an adult look back and realize that, what you were doing was like you were incredible. You weren't nearly like what you got made fun of for or bullied for. Like what you got bullied for perhaps is a gift, right? Is something that is now like a benefit to others and yourself. So as an adult, we have to be careful that our mind doesn't trick us into thinking that, that we are stupid just because we may feel stupid or because, most of the time it's imaginary voices that are making fun of us, right? It's not even like actual people.
Yeah.
And I gave an example of an actual person, but what happened was that person's voice multiplied inside of my head and it became lots of voices because then I started to kind of second guess and question myself. And I'm thankful that I ultimately didn't stop. But let them think that you're stupid. Let them think that you look stupid. Let them think that what you're doing is stupid. Just remember that you're not stupid, that you have a goal, a vision, and that you know where you're going with this. It's your vision. Don't expect somebody else to see it. And with that being said, let's wrap up, my friends. Thanks again, brother, for an incredible episode, as always, and being an amazing co-pilot when you're here on with me. I know we've got some interviews lined up for next week, starting on Monday. We are going to have one of our students here on the show, and we're going to be interviewing her. I've done over 1,000 interviews on this show, on this podcast or show alone. So we're just mixing in some kind of educational content along with some of those interviews. So meet us back here on Monday for another episode. If you want to get started with any of our programs, with one of our challenges, our marketing, learn, launch, lead challenge, or our confidence challenge, you can go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll, or you can talk to the person who may have referred you to this. We do have affiliates that are promoting our products and our programs out there. So maybe you get back with them and ask them for a link. If you want to become an affiliate of Legendary Marketer, you can go to our main website at legendarymarketer.com, click on affiliates. It's free to join. We've got an upcoming mastermind that's happening in Nashville. We're going to be releasing speakers and dates of that very, very soon. And go crush it. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday for another episode. Get out of here. Peace.
See you later.